Hare Krishna.
Welcome to the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu class as part of the Bhakti Shastri series. We are in the middle of discussing the 64 things of Bhakti. So, one second, let me send a WhatsApp message to the group. So, let's get started. I will share the screen and we can start with Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya
Mirandasya Jnananjali Shalakaya Chakshuramitam Yena Tasmai Shri
Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutah Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानु सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रील रूप गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Okay, now I can share. Slides. So we are discussing Sri Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu by Srila Rupa Goswami, along with commentaries of Srila Prabhupada, which is Nectar of Devotion, Sri Jiva Goswami, which is Durgam Sangam Mani, and Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, which is called Bhakti Sara Pradarshini. So based on all these resources, we are having this discussion for our Bhakti Shastri series. So I will recite these two verses. I will to offer our glorification to the 6 Goswamis. Primarily among them are Sri Rupa and Sri Sanatan Goswami. Sri Rupa Goswami being the author of Sri Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Paro Premamritambo Nidhi Dhira Dhira Jana Priyo Priyakaro Nirmatsaro Pujito Shri Chaitanya Kripa Bharo Bhuvi Bhuvo Bharavahantarako Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyugo Shri Jiva Gopalako Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipuno Sadharma Samsthapako Lokanam Hitakarino Tribhuvane Manyo Sharanyakaro Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Nandena Mattaliko Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyugo Shri Jiva Gopalako. Now let us recite the memorization verses. You can unmute and lead follow. So for those who would like. Anyabhilashita shunyam
Anyabhilashita sunyam
anakarmadyanavritam
namakarmadhyanapratam
anukulyena krishnano
anukulyena krishnano
Sheelanam bhaktiruttama
शीलमं
namam
भक्तिरुत्तम
bhaktiruttamam
Upadhi vinirmuktam
sarvapade
सर्वोपाधिविनिर्मुक्तं
vinirmuktam
Tvena nirmalam
तत्परत्वेन
tatparatvena
निर्मलं
nirmalam
Ikena rishikesha
ऋषिकेन
rishikena
ऋषिकेशा
rishikesha
bhaktiruchyate
सर्वनं
kevalam
भक्ति उच्यते
bhaktirukhyate
Atha Shri Krishna Namadi
अतः
atah Shri
श्रीकृष्ण
Krishna
नामादि
namadi
Aved Grahyamindriyai
na bhavet
नवपरग्रह्य
grahyamindriyai
इन्द्रियै
Mukhe hi jivhado
सेवन्मुखे
evamuke
हि जिह्वादौ
jivado
Svayameva spuratyadaha
स्वयं एव
Vayamyeva
स्फुरत्यः यतः
spuratyatah
Nasaktasya vishayan
न शक्तस्य
anashaktasya
विषयात्
vishayan
Arham upayunjataha
यथार्हम्
yadarham
उपयुञ्जितः
upayunjatah
Krishna Sambandhe
nirbandha Krishna
निर्बन्धकृष्णसम्बन्धे
sambandhe
Tam Vairagyamuchyate.
युक्तं
yuktam
वैराग्यमुच्यते
vairagyam
Okay, very nice. Thank you. So now I will go to the section where we need to continue from. Okay. So last time we did the Seva Aparads and I mentioned the existence of the Nam Aparads. So I want to, I think for sake of completion or completeness, quickly sort of review the 10 Nam Aparads. I felt it's not okay to just say that they exist and there are other lectures that one can follow. So quickly, we will go over these 10 Nam Aparads. So these aparads are very important and we will talk about these today, or we will refer to these today very strongly. And when we are doing our Nam Jap, which all of you are doing or most of you are doing, or even when one is doing Nam Sankirtan, so it may not be a japa, it may not be something that you have taken a vow to do certain number of rounds of japa. Even if you're just doing Sankirtan or you're doing 1 round or 2 round, any time you are taking the name of the Lord, it is extremely potent. It is extremely powerful. It's one of the very, very important, if not the most important limb of bhakti. We will see. That's why I thought it's important to go over this today. And it will have that potency when you avoid these Nam Aparads. So taking the name of the Lord is very potent, but you must do it while avoiding or while not causing any of these offenses. Aparadh means offenses to the holy name. So it's very important that when you're doing Sankirtan, Japa, etc., keep these in mind. Now, for many of you, only 2 or 3 may be applicable. Keep in mind those ones that are applicable to you and constantly, like, or once in a while you're doing japa, and even when you're living the rest of your life, make sure that for my japa to be effective, let me try to consciously avoid these offenses. So we will go through this quickly. I won't go through it in detail, but if you have any questions about these, we can certainly have question answers. But I'm not going to spend time on explaining all of these because it will take a lot of time and I just want to speed up our discussion. There's a whole series on Nam Aparadh that I have done. There's a beautiful series as part of Upadeshamrit that Hari Parshad Prabhuji has done. You please refer to the Nam Aparadhs in detail and try to understand them, try to get what are the aparadhs, and try to see if it applies to you, if you are committing one of those, one or more, and avoid them. Okay, so with that instruction, I will quickly read these. To blaspheme the devotees, this is number one. To blaspheme the devotees or criticize the devotees or speak ill, say bad things, or even think bad things. Again, thinking is not such a big offense, but as I said yesterday in the class, thinking one day leads to actually, verbalizing it through the mouth. So you are practicing, you are, preparing yourself to commit an offense if you are just thinking. So that's why it is very dangerous. So to criticize the devotees, blaspheme or criticize the devotees or think bad about them who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. So these devotees are propagating the holy name and you are criticizing them. So holy name will not be able to come to your rescue. Now this also is connected to the fact that if you are committing any sinful activities, this we discussed last week, then Krishna can remove those offenses. Bhagavan can remove those offenses. If you happen to commit any offenses against Bhagavan, then who can help? I think you're all on mute.
Naam Prabhu.
Yes, then the holy name can come to your help. But if you happen to cause an offense to the holy name, then who can help?
Nobody.
Nobody. Well, technically speaking, the answer is not nobody. Then the answer is a circular pointer, as we say in computer science. It is the holy name itself. Then you have to take stronger and stronger shelter of the holy name. That too only for accidental offenses. Not, that is one of the seventh one, if you see, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. The holy name is extremely powerful, but don't misuse it. That you commit offenses against the holy name. Do not commit any offenses, first of all, and especially not against the holy name, and try to use the holy name as an antidote. Very quickly, it will become meaningless. One will deviate from the path of bhakti completely. So that is the first one. Second one is to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. So I don't think many of you will have this problem. At least I personally don't have this offense, I feel. Deep down, it may still be there, but at least on the surface, seems clear. So, but if any of you have this, and there are some things to understand here about Lord Shiva, and the Sanskrit is, little tricky to understand. So, Hari Parshad Prabhuji has done a very good job in explaining all the details. Please, try to understand this very nicely. If you have this issue about, Lord Shiva versus Lord Vishnu. The third one is to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. Fourth, to blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version. So basically all the Bhakti Shastra. So it may sound like a lot of words there, Vedic literature or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version and all that. But basically it means to criticize the Bhakti Shastra, saying that Bhakti Shastra is useless or it doesn't mean much. There are higher level Shastras that override what Bhakti Shastra says. So either diminishing their value or criticizing them or doing any kind of such offense is the fifth one or the fourth one. Fifth one is to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. So this is thinking that the holy name is some kind of imaginary activity, or the holy name is not equal to the Lord. There is a difference between the name and the Lord. So those kind of imaginations, if one has. So again, all these I think many people are not doing. Then the sixth one is to give some interpretation, arthavad it is called, to the holy name of the Lord. That, the holy name means that, when we are saying Hare Krishna, it means that we are invoking some impersonal energy, or it means this, it means that. So it's none of that. When we chant Hare Krishna, we are directly connecting with the person Krishna. So that direct one-to-one mapping between the name and the Nami, or the person whose name we are chanting, there is a one-to-one equivalence. There is no difference between the two. The seventh one is very important. Now this some people may be doing, which is to commit sinful activities. So one who is chanting the holy name should give up all sinful activities. Because the holy name is an antidote. You are taking sides with the supreme authority, which is the holy name in the whole universe. You are expected to be a law-abiding citizen. It's like the child of the president is expected to be the most law-abiding citizen. He cannot think, oh, my dad is the president, so I'll go around doing fooling around. And if something happens, my dad will come and save me. Okay? Now that is true. The president could save the child, could save the son, but there is an obligation on the child to be the most well-behaved citizen so that he upholds the name of his father, of his protector. So the holy name is our protector, and we should not commit any sinful activities. And by accident, if we happen to commit, yes, then the holy name will come and protect us. But our mood should be that, oh, I accept any repentance, or I accept any punishment or atonement that is due for me. So that acceptance of the atonement should be there, not that my protector will protect me. And first of all, one should not commit sinful activities. Eighth one is to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the ritualistic activities. Like, oh, you are chanting Hare Krishna, we are doing this, some other rituals for which is known as Karma Kanda, for increasing wealth, for getting a good husband or wife or child, and you are chanting Hare Krishna, and both are the same. Or, oh, I want a good job, let me chant Hare Krishna more strongly, because chanting Hare Krishna will lead to material results. It may lead to material results, but that should not be our intention, to do it in that way, or even consider the chanting of the holy name of the Lord to produce material results for our benefit, for our sense gratification. Ninth one is tricky one, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. What it means is that, it's not about instructing a person to chant the holy name. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to go on the streets and encourage everybody to chant, even Jaghai and Madai. Few days back, there was Sri Nityananda Trayodashi. You all must have heard the pastime. Lord Nityananda would go to people like the biggest rascals, murderers, like Jaghai and Madai, and ask them to take Krishna's name. So the instruction is not that you cannot ask somebody, a faithless person, to just take Krishna's name. That's okay. But instructing them in the glories of the holy name, that, oh, the name is the same as the Lord. Or if you take the name, all your sins will be washed away. That's the glory of the name. That's the power of the name. Just ask them to take the name. Because then what could happen is that that person could cause offense to the name. Oh, what do you think? One name can remove all offenses? This is nonsense. They might offend the holy name, or they might take it as a formula for committing more sinful activities. I have a antidote. So from tomorrow, I will double my sinful activities, and I have this antidote to, relieve myself. So all those bad effects or bad consequences can happen. So don't instruct a faithless person on the glories of the holy name, but it is okay to ask them to participate in the chanting of the holy name. And one can say that, yes, it is just name of God, so chant the name of God. So everybody should understand that. Or just say that it will, make you a better person, or it will make you peaceful, or something very simple like that. Now, the last one, 10th one, is the most important, where most of the devotees also who are practicing this chanting of the holy name fall in the 10th one and or are committing this offense. So it has two parts. First part is that to not have complete faith in the power of the holy name. So we don't take full shelter of the holy name. Okay? But we take shelter of other material protections. The holy name is the most powerful protector. But we go around looking for other shelters. That's point number one, which is like saying, I don't fully have faith. The doctor is giving you the most powerful medicine. You are trying to take that, but without telling the doctor, you are going to another doctor to ask for a secondary medicine, thinking that this other first medicine will not work. Therefore, I need a backup. So that is not having complete faith. And to maintain material attachments. So on one hand, we are trying to take the medicine to remove our material attachments, but we are not letting go. We are holding on to the material attachments. So it is that seriousness is not there, that I'm really serious about letting go. It is some kind of some level of a lip service that, oh, I want to let go. I am doing the chanting so that I can develop some vairagya, but that vairagya is not really genuine. The desire for vairagya or for detachment is not genuine. This is what we will call as asat trishna. We are consciously holding on. And we are doing bhakti, but there is some element of lip service here. And this happens gradually. Doesn't mean you are a bad person. Don't think like that. Okay, we all have material attachments. Nobody can just walk out of their house or their lives. But one should at least realize that this is where I am and try to intensify our desire for taking shelter of the holy name and have a strong desire for the day when we will develop some detachment, or our detachment will grow. Somewhere or other, we will realize that my life is passing. Today, I am 40 years old or 50 years old. I may have 30 years left. Okay, 10 years later, fast forward. Oh, what progress I have made in 10 years. My life is now 10 years less left. The remaining life. Am I really making progress? That sort of urgency or that eagerness to make progress. That one day my life will be over. Then next life, who knows, I'll become a cat or dog. So am I making progress in this life? So that seriousness is what propels this detachment as well. That this is a golden chance to make progress. And I am not letting go. I am holding on. I am having all these backup plans. And everybody knows that at the time of death, all backups and all, nothing matters. That is the end. Literally, that's the end. Okay. So these are the 10 offenses. We have gone through it fairly quickly, but there is a much, much more detailed version available. I have given you the pointers, and please go through those. All right. So now, first 20 versus last 44. Remember, total 64 limbs. So what is the significance of first 20? Anybody can summarize in like 10 seconds? You can raise your hand. Okay. Shyamlila Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, they are the doorway. Like without them, if that is the base is not strong, then we cannot progress and have a strong bhakti.
Okay, very good. So, thank you. So another way to look at it, or another way to understand, this is extremely important, hence I'm always coming back to these first 20. that one must try to do or try to become expert in all 20. Okay, at least, one must be making sincere attempt to work on all the 20 limbs, the first 20. Whereas for the next 44, it's not necessary to pursue or to do all 44. That is dependent on your taste or on your liking. So you can pick which ones you would like to do, which ones you find more happiness in, or you feel more able to do or applicable to you given your circumstances and situations, then you can do that. But in the first 20, really speaking, there is no option. And those first 20 can be really done by everyone in all circumstances. There is no such limb in the first 20 which one can say I cannot do. Okay? Because all of them are very internal. And these remaining 44, one should try to do as many as possible, but even if you can do a few, that is perfectly fine. And especially the last 5 are the most important. So these few that you want to do out of the 44, it must include some of the last 5, one or more of the last 5. You cannot say I will do number 30 and 31, and from 60 to 64, they are the last 5, 60, 61, 62, 63, and 64. These are the last 5. You cannot say I will do none of those. You must do at least one of the last 5. Okay? So I hope that distinction is very clear. So first 20 are very important. It's just like foundation, the discussion we had, a foundation. You have to build a strong foundation. On top of it, you can build a building which has, any kind of architecture, whether it's north-facing house or south-facing or east-facing or, a villa or a, whatever, you have all those possibilities. But the foundation being strong is not negotiable. Okay, the rest of it on top, the structure is negotiable. All right, so having said that, now let us go into the last 44 or the remaining 44 limbs of bhakti. Now, some of these may appear to be mechanical, like one of the things will be to eat prasad. One of the favorite for everyone and the easiest one is to eat prasad. And so many people have been attracted or came into Krishna consciousness just by attraction for prasad. That's nice. So initially it can be mechanical or it can be very material level. Another one is Geetam. We might talk about it today, like singing. Or another one is doing parikrama, just going around the temple. So it's just walking. You can put, your headphones and listen to some movie songs while doing parikrama. So you can think that, I am doing parikrama. And parikrama literally means going around the temple or going around the holy place. So yes, you are doing parikrama, but your mind is elsewhere. So the mechanical aspect, mechanically doing these 44 is not going to produce the result. It really does not count as a limb of bhakti. One must do these with full bhava, with full love and devotion to Krishna. The thought should be like I have put it in blue color here. Krishna will be pleased by my doing this activity. Therefore, let me do it. So when you are doing that activity, even while eating prasad, it is our body, it is our taste buds which are being satisfied when we eat prasad. How many times you think, how many times you all have eaten prasad for many, many years? How many times this thought has been in your mind? By my eating prasad, the Lord is becoming happy. Think about it. So from next time, when you eat prasad, try to think at least in the beginning and in the middle and towards the end that the Lord is happy that I ate his remnants. Okay, with feeling, it's not just a checkbox. That would become mechanical. So no point in doing these mechanically. One must do it with love and devotion. Okay, now let's start diving into the 44 limbs, the last 44 or the remaining 44. So we will go over these quickly. Dhritir Vaishnava Chinham. So it means on our body, we put Vaishnava Chinha. Chinha means signs. Primary, the biggest sign that we put on our body is what? Tilak, yes. And also, this is not very commonly done, but if you go to Vrindavan, you will see it much more commonly. Harer Nama Aksharasya. So Nama Akshar, Harer Nama Akshar. So like writing the name Krishna or Shri Radhe or like that, Radhe Radhe, wherever, some people, make tattoos, permanent Harinam Akshar. Some make it temporary. All those are fine. So marking the body with Vaishnava symbols or letters. So Harinam Akshar not only includes just letters, but symbols also. Okay. So you could have a symbol of the conch or a chakra or all those kind of symbols that are Vaishnava symbols can be used. Okay. And there are some other symbols like, japa bead in a hand is also a symbol. It's not a paint on the body, but it is also a symbol that you take on to your body. You kind of, what do you say, adorn it. Like you adorn clothes, you adorn the japa beads in your hand. So that is also a symbol. And there are so many types of tilaks. And, tilak has so many varieties. This tilak that we wear, like these two lines with like a tulsi leaf at the bottom, is among the Vaishnavas also, there are many types of tilaks. So this is a tilak specifically for the Rupanuga Parivar. Within Gaudiya Vaishnavism itself, there is like the descendants, not descendants, but the followers of Rupa Goswami or the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There is Nityananda Parivar. Not that they are different, they are also Gaudiya Vaishnavas, but they have slightly different tilak. Gadadhar Parivar of Gadadhar Pandit, who is, in the Pancha Tattva, we say Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Gadadhar, Shrivasadi, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. So Gadadhar Parivar, there are so many Parivars are there. They all have different types of neck beads, different styles. All those are fine. The most important point is that when we are putting on tilak or these symbols, we need to remind ourselves that our body is being decorated. You decorate, your vehicle. The body is a vehicle for the soul. So just like, you decorate your vehicle. Here these days we don't decorate, but in marriage, you decorate the vehicle in which the groom goes or whatever, right? Or, so it's like the body is a vehicle in which the Lord resides, the Paramatma is residing. So it reminds us that the body is the vehicle of the Lord. Okay, I think Sai Prabhu has a question. Okay, oh, it's a long one. I had a question for a long that the holy name and Krishna are the same. But I asked this question to a senior person, but I did not get a satisfactory answer. For example, Krishna does many things with his friends and family, like a family member. I have not heard of the name sufficing in place of personal association. For example, Gopakumar was always in pain to meet Krishna. So when we say that name and Krishna are non-different, what we mean is that the potency is exactly the same. That is one starting point to understand the equivalence. Okay. And the second part, okay, let me finish reading your question. Mother Rukmini said she will commit suicide if Krishna didn't appear. So personal presence is more than just the name. So yes, this is a very deep question. I will answer it in more detail in one of the upcoming classes, if that's okay with you. All right, the equivalence of the name, Naam, and the Nami. So it deserves a more sort of a deeper treatment. So let me, treat it more in a more detailed way. For now, I will leave it at the fact or at the point that the potency is exactly the same. One should not think that by, for example, doing deity worship, because that is sort of slightly, one can think, more connected directly to Krishna, because you are worshipping the Vigraha, the sort of a form of Krishna with 2 hands, 2 legs, the face and the feet and so on, versus just taking the name. So that is not the case, that the name has any less potency than any other form of Krishna. So the name and Krishna in the sense of the potency are exactly the same. So that much I will leave it with today, and we will come back to this in a more detail. That's a very, very serious, very good question. Okay, so that is Harer Nama Aksharasya. Then Nirmalyadesh. So Nirmalya. So it's like a mala. So mala and other things. So what it means, I'm skipping some of these bullets as to where it is from, which verse of Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu we are talking about. That's just for reference. But it means accepting and wearing the garlands, flowers, sandalwood paste, oils, clothes, etc. offered to the deity. Okay, so that is what this limb of bhakti is. So when we put on tilak, now of course the tilak can be of just anything. You can just take a paint purchased from the market and put it. The best kind of tilak is called Gopi Chandan, or one of the kinds of tilak. So you are not only putting a symbol on your body, the ingredient of the tilak is Gopi Chandan. It's coming from the holy place of Dwarka. Or some people, like right now, I have put Radha Kund tilak. So it is the mud from Sri Radha Kund. So accepting and wearing these various objects of that have connection with the Lord, such as garlands, flowers, sandalwood. After Narsingharti, you can see in your temple, some people go around putting a little oil on the back of your hand. So that's the oil that has been offered to Lord Nrsingadev that we put on our body. You go to Mayapur, you can buy this, some nice devotee gifted me this oil, Narsingh oil, which was used for worship of Lord Nrsingadev. And every day I just take a little bit and I just rub it on my hand. So, this is like, accepting and wearing the various things that have been offered to the Lord on our body. So that is what it means. What are the benefits of doing this? Quickly, let's cover. So now there are verses. So I am, in the interest of speed of the maintaining speed of the class, I am summarizing the various verses from the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. I have mentioned, for example, there are 2 verses that Rupa Goswami has used, which are in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, have numbers 125 and 126. The first one is from Srimad Bhagavatam. The second one is from Skanda Puran. For the Skanda Puran verse, there is no number. Bhagavatam verse has an actual number, which you can go look up. But these are the 2 verses that are being used to show the importance of wearing and accepting the various garlands, etc. of the Lord. And what I'm doing here is giving a summary of those verses in English. So all the bullets on every slide is just a summary of what is there in those verses and the commentaries of the acharyas on those verses. So all of this is coming directly from Shastra. None of it is my imagination or my points. If there are additional points I'm adding, I will add it here, like additional learning. These ones I am adding out of sort of my own realization or something I have heard from other devotees' classes. Okay, so that is the format of what I am sharing with you. So when we adorn these objects, one thing is Maya stays away. Maya Devi looks, so he's wearing a garland of the Lord. Let me not go near this guy. Let me stay as far away as possible, which is nice. Yamadutas also stay away, which is good. And diseases and sinful reactions also stay away. So very nice benefits we get, which all help in our spiritual life. It's not just for our material pleasure, but for spiritual pleasure. Also, when we say offering, accepting and wearing garlands and sandalwood oils and this and that, and clothes also. So one thing is deity clothes. Now sometimes deity is only 6 inch big. So how can you wear that? You cannot wear it. Maybe you can just keep it in your, near your heart for 2 minutes. But for example, if you buy any new clothes for yourself, okay, now we offer food to the Lord. We can also offer fresh clothes to the Lord. So if you buy a new pair of whatever, even jeans, hey, offer it to the Lord. And then you will be wearing the offering what has been offered to the Lord, and then you can wear your jeans. So, but again, do it with the feeling that I am doing this as an act of bhakti. Okay. So with that feeling of love and devotion, you offer it to Krishna, and then you accept it back. And another thing is that, all these things, these simple things, everybody buys clothes. Everybody buys all kinds of food, vegetables and rice and this and that. When we offer to the Lord, even if the parents do it, a very important thing is, or any of these activities of bhakti, which we are going to talk about, are some of them may be mechanical, like offering a lamp to the Lord in the evening. It carries on from generation to generation to generation. Children see it. Oh, this was done in my house. They think that, yes, it was a nice thing. When let's say a girl, when she grows up, when she goes and, has her own family, or a boy has his own family, he will at least carry that impression, and he will continue to do at least that. There is this culture that sort of is continued. I have seen so many of these many times modern so to say children. We do these sometimes Damodar programs in various houses, and we offer or invite people to offer a lamp to the Lord. I have seen many times some children, they are very shy, not shy or very apprehensive to even offer, as if it is some, black magic or, some bad thing. They say, I don't want to do it. I don't want to touch that. Or, that culture, we should preserve this culture. We should not let it erode away. So it also instills this culture of devotion within the generations, the future generations. At least, even if they are not understanding why we are doing, at least the seeds are being sown, at the very least. Of course, a lot more can be done. Okay, so that was number 23. Now I will again go a little quick, 24 to 27. So, Tasyagre Tandavam. Tandav, everybody understands what is Tandav Nritya. Tandav Nritya is the, the very heavy, or not heavy, or like very energetic, most energetic dance by Lord Shiva. So, like, one should do very enthusiastic dance in front of the Lord, again to please the Lord. Okay, dancers, like when you go for a stage performance, when they are dancing on the stage, you have paid a ticket or purchased a ticket to watch them dance, isn't it? Which means they are making you happy. You clap or you feel happy when they are dancing, isn't it? By seeing a dance. So same way, we can be the dancer, and the Lord can be the one who is getting pleased on seeing the dancer in us. Okay, so even if we don't know how to dance, that's okay, you can dance. The Lord doesn't demand Tandav dance. Tandav is the maximum, and nobody can do Tandav as good as Lord Shiva. Only he can do. So anything less is fine. Even just a small, like, moving on your 2 feet, what is known as the Swami step, or if nothing else, at least clap. Okay, so, that is an expression of enthusiasm that you're in. That it's not like, somebody has died in your house and then you are coming to the temple like with a morose, outlook. Some enthusiasm, when you go to meet your friend, if you're morose, he will think that he's not happy to see me. Next time, he will not, he may get a wrong impression. So like that, showing our enthusiasm. 25th is Dandavat Nati or Dandavat Pranam. So full Dandavat Pranam in front of Krishna. So it is an expression out of surrender, out of helplessness, when you fall at the feet and completely surrender to Krishna. So men do Ashtanga Pranam, which means like fully like a rod. Women do Panchanga Pranam. So they don't lie flat, but like on their knees. And then the head touches the ground. Okay. So Panchang means the head, 2 hands and 2 feet. And for the men, it is Ashtanga. Then 26th one is Abhyutthanam, or what it means is to stand up upon seeing the procession of the Lord. So not just a procession, or whenever you see the Lord, even in the temple, when the door opens or the curtain opens, when you see the Lord first time, you stand up. So in our temple also, whenever curtain opens, everybody stands up and pays obeisance. So, and the same applies on seeing saints or guru also, not just for the Lord. And for them, of course, if the deity is standing, the deity, at least to our material eyes, it will not look like the deity sat down. But for guru and saints, when they sit down, then you should sit down. Keep standing when they are standing. And for guru and Vaishnavas, it makes us dear to them. And it removes ahankar from our heart. And you will see, every time when they are standing and you have to stand, sometimes the thought may come, hey, why I have to stand? Can't I just stay sitting? And that thought is being prompted. The root of that thought is in our ahankar. Why I have to stand? I already stood first time. Now he's standing. Why I have to stand? Let me stay sitting. He doesn't deserve that or what is so great he has done. I'm just going, some potential thoughts that may come. This is all coming from our ahankar. So one should remember this limb and stand up. And it helps in reducing or removing our ahankar. Okay. Anuvrajya, or following behind the Lord's procession. Also important. Now, this is especially for a procession like Jagannath Rath Yatra or any other procession that is happening, one follows. Now, the reason is multiple reasons. First of all, you can encourage others to follow. It causes sinners or, on the street, because the procession will always end up where? Where does any procession of the Lord end up? In the temple. So if one just follows the procession, it leads people to the temple, which is a nice thing. Even sinners, if they were to just follow the procession, they will be led to the temple. So that is one benefit. Another benefit is that many times some class, again, of devotees, it's not the right practice, but some class of devotees is not allowed to enter the temple. And then they can get the benefit of seeing the Lord when the Lord comes out. So one should go along with the Lord as far as possible. Like in Jagannath Puri, for example, they have this rule, which I don't agree with personally, that, and many devotees don't agree with it, that only Indian-bodied looking people are allowed to go into the temple. If you look any other kind of, Japanese, Chinese, American, Caucasian, African, whatever, they will stop you. So in fact, I know one Mataji, she is very, she's completely Indian, but she looks very Western. Even she was not allowed to go. Even though she told the guard, hey, I can speak Hindi. And, she showed her passport and this and that. Even said, no, you are Western and we won't let you go. And there was another Western Mataji I know. She, before going to Jagannath temple, she went on some sea beach and got a big tan and, became looking like an Indian bodied, and then they weren't able to catch her. So yeah, all these tricks are done. So it's okay. But the Lord comes out to give his darshan to devotees. And another point I have heard is that, sins don't walk. So if you stand up and walk, the sins are left behind. Okay. So that is another explanation I have heard. So when you walk along with the procession of the Lord, the sins keep sitting, you leave your sins behind. Okay. Next. Gati sthane. So going to the Lord's temple or pilgrimages. So sthan, gati means to go, and sthane means to the place of the Lord. And Sri Jiva Goswami in the commentary says that there are, actually Sri Rupa Goswami himself says, and he has dedicated 2 specific verses for this. One is to go to the Tirtha Sthal, the holy land, and one is to go to Alaya. Alaya means to the home of the Lord, which means the temple. So both of them are counted in Gati Sthane, going to the place of the Lord, which means a holy land like Vrindavan or Mathura or Ayodhya or Jagannath Puri or Mayapur, etc., etc. You know, there's so many other places are also there, Dwarka and Rameshwaram and Badrinath and so many places. They are all holy lands, or the temple, wherever, you know, a deity is present is a temple. So Alaya. And it is considered to be the best use of legs to go to such a place. And what are the benefits? One gets to meet and associate with devotees, because devotees come to such place. And it is said, when you enter the temple, you exit the material world. The material world is outside. It cannot penetrate, or the ill effects of the material world don't penetrate the temple, it is said. So when you enter the temple, you are exiting the material world. And especially on seeing the Leela Sthal, the Tirtha Sthal, where, and at Tirtha Sthal, pretty much Leelas have occurred. All the Tirtha Sthals, if you count, Mathura, the Lord was born, Vrindavan, not born, but appeared. Vrindavan, so many pastimes. Ayodhya is again appearance of Lord Ram. Rameshwaram is where he built the bridge. Dwarka, so many pastimes. Any place, Jagannath Puri. So all these Leelas get ingrained in your mind. You can read a book about it, but when you actually go there, it gets more strongly ingrained in the mind. So you can remember the Leelas, you can meditate on the Leelas, you know, by going there, by spending some time there. The best way to go to these, and I had covered these two, I took these 2 sessions on Vrindavan Yatra and Mayapur Yatra, which I had gone. I shared some pictures and the stories and all that. The best way to go to these places is to prepare yourself before going. And preparing means developing a connection with that place. Think of where all I would like to go, read up, or as you are reading, keep noting down a list. I would like to go to this place. I would like to go to this place. I would like to go to this place. Maintain sort of a running list. Like, you know, just like your grocery list. Next time when I have to go to Fred Meyer or Costco, oh, this thing is over. So I need to buy, you know, whatever, soap or detergent or whatever. You write it down in a list. Similarly, next time when you want to go to Vrindavan or Mayapur, you should have a list of places to visit and their significance. So write it down, and it will create a connection in your heart. And you should, then when you go, you will get a lot of benefit. Okay, 29th is parikrama, is circumambulation. So circumambulating the Lord or his dham. So again, it's connected with this one. You can circumambulate the whole dham, and at multiple levels, like there is Vrindavan parikrama. Then there is Braj Mandal parikrama. Vrindavan parikrama, you can do it in 1 day because it is shorter. It's just Vrindavan town or village. It's no longer a village, it's now a town. Or Vraj Mandal takes 1 month. It includes Vrindavan, Mathura, Barsana, and like it's a much, the whole Vraj Mandal. You can do that. Or just circumambulate the temple or the Lord. So that can be done, like in our Portland. You can do parikrama in 30 seconds or 20 seconds. 1 parikrama. It's just a short parikrama. You go out of 1 door, you come out of the other, come in from the other door, and you can just do small parikrama. Okay. So parikrama means what? Returning to the starting point. So make sure if you start the parikrama at one point, you end up there. Okay, so parikrama means a closed loop. Don't leave it an open-ended loop. Okay, don't leave a gap. So make sure you end there. And it is said why parikrama is important, because if you do this parikrama, you get relief or you are absolved from doing the other parikrama. What is the other parikrama you are doing? Which every living entity is doing. He is going through all the 8.4 million species and continuously going and going and going like this and ending up at the same point. It's like a unending loop. Okay, you start with a human life or whatever, then cat and dog and fish and tree and this and again human and again cat and dog. So if you do this parikrama of the Lord, you are relieved from doing that parikrama, which you are being forced to do. And it is said that you should circumambulate, if possible, 4 times. Okay, so parikrama of 4 times of the Lord is recommended. Again, if possible. Now, Govardhan parikrama is huge. 1 time is enough. But in our temple, for example, I try to do 4 times. It takes 2 minutes. So when possible, recommendation is to do 4 times. And it is an alternate to Tirthasthana Gati. If you cannot go to Tirthasthal, remember, you can do the parikrama in a alaya. So just visiting the alaya is the 28th one. While you visit the alaya, do the parikrama. Then you get the benefit of visiting the tirtha also. Okay. And always the parikrama should be done with right hand towards the deity, which means in a clockwise direction. If you look from the top. Okay. So keeping the right hand towards the deity. So all these things you must know. And also it is recommended for those people who fall asleep during the class or doing japa. So if you have that problem, then parikrama is a good limb of bhakti for you. For many people, attending a class or doing japa is the fastest way to fall asleep. So in parikrama, that will not be possible unless you are like completely sleep deprived and you fall while walking. Then in that case, better take some rest. Okay, then comes the big one, number 30th, Archanam. So Archana, this is the first one among the 5 most important limbs. So the last 5 are repetitions and are included at the end for emphasis. Rupa Goswami, actually speaking, there are only 59 limbs of bhakti, not 64, because the last 5 are repeated. Okay, that makes it 64. So here is the first one. Number 30 is Archanam. So it will be repeated. I think it is the 61st one, 60th or 61st one is the Archanam. So there we will go into more details of it. But this is one of the most important limbs of bhakti, is worshipping the deity. Now, typically in the temples, especially, the deity worship is there. You need some eligibility. One of the eligibility criteria is Brahman initiation. Initiation, first of all, initiated, and that too with a Brahman at a Brahmanical level. So that is the general recommendation. Plus, there are a lot of processes. One has to be very careful. Now, the first and most important thing about being a Brahman is Brahmanical qualities. Not just one has been, given initiation and you're still behaving like a rascal. So then it's not really actual Brahman. Either you're trying to deceive the spiritual master by, or the spiritual master didn't see nicely enough, or, didn't examine carefully enough before awarding initiation. But somewhere or the other, something was missed. So, but what it means is a genuine Brahmin should do deity worship, and specifically because it is about, in deity worship, you are actually, another limb will come, which is called touching the deity, but at a larger level, deity worship includes touching the deity as well. So a Brahman is supposed to be doing that because they are actively working on cleaning their heart. So that is first point. And then there are certain procedures and processes to be followed. They are chanting certain mantras, certain confidential mantras which have been given to them, which they are doing chanting of. So that makes them eligible to do the deity worship. It's a very elaborate topic. I plan to take a separate class on this sometime, not as part of Bhakti Shastri, just because it is a nice thing to know and understand the details of deity worship. Sometime I will do it, and it can be done in so many ways. You can do it with 2 items, just with an incense and a lamp, or with 5 items, or 16 items, 105 items. I mean, there's no limit. Whatever your heart desires, you can do it in very, very detailed way, as detailed as you want. So deity worship is a very, very important activity. And the point is, one feels very connected with the deity. There is a very strong connection. I know some people, they have extremely strong connection with the deity and with a specific deity. Let us say, for example, Dwarkadhish Ji in Los Angeles. Not any other Dwarkadhish Ji or any other deity. They will have one connection like that, something. So it's just a matter of the heart. And that develops, that comes with gradual, engagement in the process of bhakti. So like that, and then there is no limit. You will say only 16 items. Now one may say, Arey Baap, 16 items. Oh my God, how will I stand for, such a long time? 16 items. Abhi, then you will keep counting. Abhi to 7th. Oh my God, 8th, 9th, 10th, 16th. Thank God. But the other person will feel, Arey, only 16. Why not 1600? So that should be the feeling. And that comes when one is connected, very deeply connected with a deity. So when there is that deep connection, the deity service, the deity archanam becomes natural. For one who is not connected with a deity, then it is not natural. And, one can do some other limb in that case. But developing this strong connection with one of the limbs is very important, at least one or more of the limbs. You should do it with a lot of feeling, with actual interest, with genuine interest, not as a force and counting your, 7, 8, as if like, you have been, you're like a slave having to lift those rocks, up the hill. It shouldn't be like that kind of feeling. Okay. Then 105 items also will look too less. That is the point. Okay. Now, paricharya. This is very important. And it is a extension of archanam. So for archanam, there were certain eligibility criteria, I told you, right? So it is related to archanam, but it is not directly archana. And those who cannot do archana can do paricharya. Okay, it is like a assistant to one who is doing archana. Very nice example I had come across, like when guests come to the house. Let us say tonight, mom and dad say, hey, my dad says my good friend is coming, to visit me, and, you clean up the house and, you cook nice things. But the kids are also excited, dad's friend is coming. So the dad says, hey, kids, go clean up that place. Or, they tell the kids to do certain smaller things. They cannot do the cooking or they cannot do some big tasks, but they do small tasks to help mom and dad prepare for welcoming the guest. So that is called paricharya. So it includes 2 aspects are specifically mentioned. Preparation activities before archana. So archana includes a lot of activity, a lot of items. You need incense or, sticks and oils and lamp and water and ghee and there's a whole list of things. Paricharya means you can go get those things. You can assemble them. You can do so much preparatory activity before, and during you can help the main person who is doing archana. Like, think of it like an operation table. The doctor is doing that. He just, you might have seen in a movie, he, spreads his hand and the nurse or whoever's assistant keeps putting all the instruments in his hand, right? He knows what the main doctor, main surgeon wants at a specific time. So this assistant knows what he wants. So he could, things like, while Archana is happening, you're holding an umbrella on top of the Lord. That is Paricharya. Or you are ringing the bell. Now, typically the pujari rings the bell, but if you go to a big temple, deity worship is happening and there's a big bell on the ceiling. Somebody is pulling the rope to, ring that big bell while deity services, deity worship is happening. So that is Paricharya also. So side activities during Archana or preparation activities before Archana, also activities, menial activities after Archana, like cleaning all the vessels or cleaning the place, washing the place, all those are Paricharya. So all the assisting or assistance activities for Archana are called Paricharya. So those who cannot directly do Archana, they can all do Paricharya, and there is not any eligibility required like Brahmin initiation, chanting of confidential mantras. That's not needed for Paricharya. And it can be like a training board for Archana. Those who are interested in deity worship but cannot do it, they can do Paricharya. Is it clear what is Paricharya? Okay. So, and it's like an assistant. You are serving the king, or you are the assistant of the server. Okay, assistant of the chef, so to say. So I think I covered all the points, but one's mind gets cleansed, and there are hundreds of sublimbs or angas of Paricharya. And Rupa Goswami says that I cannot cover all of them, otherwise the size of the book will become too big. So, there are so many items that can be done in Paricharya. Okay. Then Geetam. So now all these up to 31 were activities of the body, whole body. So if you look at it, it was like whole body, Paricharya, Archana, Parikrama, the whole entire body is used. Now Geeta, which is voice, the use of the voice for the Lord. So Geeta means singing various hymns and bhajans, etc. So it is said that singing for Krishna is higher than singing for anyone else. And it is not part of Archanam because singing is prohibited for the Brahman who is doing the Archana while he is doing the Archana. You might have seen, when the Brahman is doing Archana, the others are singing, but he is very quiet. He is very focused on the activity of worshipping the deity with the various items. His whole attention is on the deity and on the worship procedures and process with a lot of love and devotion in the heart, but he's not doing the singing along with that. Okay, the others are doing that. Now, Brahmanas can also sing and but not at the time of doing Archana. And those who are doing the singing, again, this is another aspect. For many people, it becomes like a theatrical performance. And that should not be the mood. Many people have told me also that, when I do singing, sometimes it enters my mind that I'm, trying to look at the faces of the people. Are they feeling, and are their eyes glowing with my appreciation for me? That kind of sense gratification feeling should not be there. It should be there with 100% feeling to please the Lord, not for sense gratification. Now, you can please the Lord and you can please the Vaishnavas also, but that should be the consciousness, that should be the mood, that even if you're trying to please the people around, it should be that they are Vaishnavas and I want to serve the Vaishnavas and therefore I will sing nicely. If that's the feeling, that's okay, but not for our sense gratification. Are they thinking I'm such a great, singer? Or are they thinking that, oh, this guy is so nice, let me, go and congratulate him, or let me announce his name or something like that. So that should not be the mood, but Gita or singing for the Lord is a limb of bhakti. That brings us to the next one, which is Sankirtanam. So this one is the next one, which is part of the 5. Which was the first one, which was part of the 5 most important? Pop quiz.
Deity worship.
Archanam, I think.
Archanam, same thing, deity worship, Archanam. Yes. So today we are going to cover 2 of the 5 most important ones of this. And this one that we are covering is Sankirtanam. So, Sankirtanam is loud singing, Kirtana. And Sankirtanam typically means with multiple people. Kirtan means with 1 or 2 people is called Kirtana. More than 2 is called Sankirtana. Okay. So, in association of devotees, loud or audible singing of the Lord is Sankirtanam. Now, singing does not have to mean music. Singing means just loud, audible. It could be Kirtana of the Lord's name or Leela or Guna. So, for example, Leela, if you are narrating a story about the Lord or the pastimes of the Lord, that is also Sankirtan. It could be just like a talk. That is also Sankirtan. It is loud and it is narration of the Lord's Leela. Okay. So there are many types of Sankirtan. 3 have been highlighted by Sri Rupa Goswami. So there are 4 verses, 45, 145, 146, 147, 148. 4 verses are dedicated to Sankirtan in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And more will be dedicated when this comes in the part of the last 5. So we'll hold that till the end of the discussion of 64 when we get to it in few weeks. So here, for 145th verse is talking about the fact that there are these Kirtan means loud, and the content could be Nam, Leela or Gun, and etc. It says Adi. So etc. could be Rupa. One of the things that is missing is Rupa, the form of the Lord. Another thing that is there, or that could be there, is Shiksha, the teachings of the Lord, and so on. And it's one of the 5 most important limbs of bhakti. So the 146th verse is talking about chanting of the names. So 146 is talking about the name, 147 is talking about the Leela or pastimes, and 148 is talking about the qualities. So Sri Rupa Goswami has given 3 different evidences for Nama, Leela, and Guna. So those 3 are given. So chanting Krishna's names turns 10 million sins to ashes. One name turns 10 million sins to ashes. This is, I think, from the Vishnu Dharma. There's a scripture called Vishnu Dharma. I think in that it is mentioned. Anyway, Shri Jiva Goswami mentions that Krishna is just a upalakshan, which means that not just Krishna, but all other names of Krishna are also implied in this. Okay. So even though this verse number 146 says that Krishna Nama, it does not mean only Krishna Nama. There's this aspect in Sanskrit called upalakshana, like it's called kakebhyo dadhi rakshati. A mother tells a child, protect the dadhi or the yogurt from the kakebhyo, from the crow. Okay, and then she goes and does some shopping and comes back and sees that the yogurt has been spilled. So she asks the child, hey, I told you, kakebhyo dadhi rakshati, protect the yogurt from the crow. Why is the yogurt all spilled? Then the child says, oh, the cat came and spilled it. You said only protect from the crow, not from the cat. Then the mother says, when I said crow, I meant crow or anybody else who will spoil the yogurt. So that is the meaning, when it says Krishna, it doesn't just mean Krishna. Also Rama, Hari, Govinda, Mukunda, and so many names of Krishna are implied. That's the implied meaning or upalakshan. Then Leela Kirtan. Okay, so this is a verse by Shri Prahlad Maharaj in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where he says that chanting the pastimes of Lord Nrsimhadev in association of devotees one can cross the ocean of material suffering. So this verse is specifically saying the Narsingh Leela chanting. So that again, all the Leelas of the Lord, not just Nrsimhadev. And this verse talks about chanting the glories of the qualities of the Lord. Okay. Now, a very important point about Nama Sankirtan is that we will talk about it in a little bit today, is that why it is the best. First of all, we will establish that it is the best among the 5. It is the best because it cleanses the heart. This is the process. Nama Sankirtan is the process of cleaning the heart. And that is the number one obstacle in entire path of bhakti is an unclean heart. If the heart is cleansed, bhakti comes naturally. Bhakti Devi comes and sits in a clean heart, a heart free of impurities primarily dealing with our sense gratification and our sinful propensities. So, Nama Sankirtan is the best medicine to clean the heart. So, we will talk about that in just a second after we talk about Japa. So, now we'll go to the 34th limb and then we'll come back to Sankirtana. But Japa is also a part of Kirtan. So, this is talked about in 2 verses. And it talks about soft Japa. When Japa, Rupa Goswami is saying Japa means soft Japa. Mantrasya salaghu uchcharo Japa iti abhidiyate. So, Japa is the process, abhidiyate, of chanting a mantra sa laghu uchcharo, or su laghu uchcharo. Laghu means soft, or laghu is applying to the volume of the voice. Su laghu means
easy to spell, easy to say. Laghu.
You please listen to me. Don't invent your own meaning. Okay. So laghu in this case is referring to our volume of chanting the mantra, whatever mantra, whether it is Hare Krishna mantra or some other mantra, it's referring to the volume. And su laghu means very soft. So the volume is very soft of chanting the mantra. That is the meaning of su laghu uchcharo. Uchcharo means it is still, you are speaking from your mouth, barely enough to hear yourself. If somebody is sitting 2 feet away or 3 feet away, he should not hear. Maybe if he is sitting in your lap, he can hear. But not 3 feet away, he should not hear. You can think of it like that. Okay. And this verse is from Padma Purana, which talks about a specific mantra, Krishnaya Namaha. That is a mantra. Like we have another mantra, the devotees of Lord Shiva says, Om Namah Shivaya. That is a mantra. Or Narad Muni gave a mantra to Dhruva, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That's also a mantra. We also chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It's a longer mantra. So, but the point here being made in this verse is that chanting this mantra bestows liberation. Okay, so Jiva Goswami in his commentary mentions that there are 3 types of japa. Now here Sri Rupa Goswami is talking about Su Laghu Uchcharo as the japa. But technically speaking, there are 3 types: Vachik, Upamshu, or Manasik. Okay, what does it mean? Vachik means loud enough that many people can hear in a whole room, perhaps. Okay, but Jiva Goswami says that that kind of, either it is true that it is a type of japa and we call it Vachik japa, but he's saying that falls more in the category of Kirtan. So Vachik japa is, we can call it as Kirtan. Okay, so that is covered under the Kirtan category. Then there is Manasik japa. Manasik japa means simply in the mind, no sound at all. No sound at all. So it is like a tape recorder running inside. So you want to try for 10 seconds? Just chant one Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, but in a manasik way, which means just your inside like a tape recorder is going. No zero. If you had a decibel meter, it should record zero reading. Zero audible output. Just do it once. Done? That is manasik jap. And Shri Jiva Goswami says that falls in the category of smaran. That is smaran. So what is left as japa? Therefore, what is left is upamshu. Upamshu is the same as sulaghu uchcharo. Very soft volume japa is called upamshu japa, and that is what is being meant by Rupa Goswami when he says japa. The other one calls kirtan, loud one, and complete zero volume is called smaran. Okay, so we talked about these three types of japa. Now, how many of you face difficulty in japa? Especially upamshu japa. Or difficulty means not finding taste. How many of you do not find taste? I will raise my hand as well. I do not find much taste. So devotees are raising their hands and some may be shy in raising their hands. That's okay. That's okay. That's all right. So why is that? Okay. Why is there no taste in japa? Yeah, you can lower your hands. Okay. So taste means like, when your 16 rounds are done, you feel, are done? It's like you are watching a very, interesting movie. And when the movie is over, you feel sad. I wish it was another 2 hours. Right? Or whatever, if they will say, part 2 will come next year. Next Christmas, we will release part 2 of the movie. You wish that part 2 would be released right now. So like that, we have this attraction for that. We don't have that attraction or taste for japa. Why? Okay. So what Shri Sanatana Goswami is saying is that when we say we don't have taste for japa, it is mainly for upamshu japa and manasik japa that there is no taste. Okay. These two categories for most people. And that is because the heart is not clean. When the heart is not clean, the taste or the anand, upamshu or manasik jap mein anand nahi aata hai. जब तक चित्त शुद्धि नहीं हुई है. If the heart is unclean, then one does not feel blissful or find the taste in upamshu or manasik jap. Okay. Once the heart is cleaned or cleaned enough, or to the extent we start cleaning it, the taste begins to develop automatically. Automatically it develops. So if you want to develop taste, clean your heart. And then you will see how the taste develops. Okay? So it is very straightforward. It may not be simple to do, or it may not be easy to do, but it is straightforward. Okay? And however, Vachik Japa, especially Nama Sankirtan, has no such requirement of cleansed heart. That one does not have this requirement. Therefore, many people, I have written here everyone, but maybe there are some people, but many people find ananda, find bliss and taste in Nam Sankirtan. Because it does not have this requirement of a cleansed heart. And Nam Sankirtan is the process to clean the heart. Especially Nam Sankirtan by removing the Nam Aparadh. That's why I went over the Nam Aparadh in the beginning. Just Nam Sankirtan is also good, but it becomes many, many times more potent if it is done without Nam Aparadha. And there are three more components: Tattva Brahma, Asat Trishna, and Hridaya Dorvalyam. We have talked about this before. Recently, I gave a class, and you can go over that and try to understand. But that is the process of cleaning the heart. And when the heart becomes clean sufficiently, the taste for Upamshu Japa will arise like anything, like a fountain. You will find it hard to stop it. Okay, so that is on the importance of Sankirtana. So therefore, Nama Sankirtan is considered to be the topmost limb of bhakti, especially in Kali Yuga. For Kali Yuga. Why? Because everyone in Kali Yuga has an unclean heart. That is the first requirement. First, you have to clean the gutter. You have to clean the sewer. You have to remove the blockage in the sewer. Then the water will flow very nicely. So, especially in Kali Yuga, Nam Sankirtan is the topmost limb. And this is why, even though the importance of Smaran is very high, you know, to do Raganuga Bhakti, one has to focus on Smaran, but that is considered much rarer, less practiced, and less significant, especially in Kali Yuga, because, or compared to Nama Sankirtan, because very, very few people have that eligibility to find Ananda, to find bliss in Smarana. Okay. So therefore, Nam Sankirtan is considered to be the most significant, the most important limb of bhakti. And here is some very strong evidence for it. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, very, very important two verses are these. Okay. Please try to memorize these or have it front and center. Remember these. Antya Leela 4.70 and 71. Okay. Lord Chaitanya is telling Sanatan Goswami, Bhajanera Madhye Shrestha Navavidha Bhakti. Among all the limbs of bhajan, here we are seeing 64 limbs. Navavidha, the 9 processes. What are the 9 processes? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. 9. So these 9 are Shrestha, are the best. And Krishna Prema, Krishna Dite Dhare Mahashakti. They have the power to give you Krishna Prema and Krishna Dite Dhare. And it can give you Krishna, it can give you Krishna Prema. And these 9 processes, Dhare Mahashakti, they have Mahashakti, they have a lot of power. Very powerful process. Tara Madhye, among these 9, within these 9, Sarva Shrestha, these were Shrestha. Now we are saying Sarva Shrestha. Really the best of the best is Nama Sankirtan. Okay, that is the second one. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. The second one is Kirtanam. That one, Nama Sankirtanam, is Sarva Shrestha. Niraparadhe. Now you must do it with Niraparadha. Niraparadha means no Nam Aparadha. That is the meaning of Niraparadha. Nama Leile, if you take the name minus the Nam Aparadha, Paya Premadhana, you will get the love of Krishna. Okay. So these are the, so therefore here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that the 9 processes are the most important, and among those 9, the topmost is Nama Sankirtana. But you must do it Niraparada. And we know the 10 Nama Parads. So that is the, you know, theory. So please try to practice the theory. Then from Srimad Bhagavatam also, all of you have heard this. Now there's another reference in Madhya Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita. There's the significance or importance of Nama Sankirtan we are talking about. Navavidha Bhakti Purna Nama Haite Haya. The Navavidha Bhakti becomes complete by Nama Sankirtan, by chanting the holy name. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying this. Then in Srimad Bhagavatam it is said, now we have, these are very, very famous verses. Kalir, this is Shukadev Goswami telling King Parikshit, this is Rajan means my dear King Parikshit. Shukadev Goswami is saying, Kaler dosha nidhe Rajan, asti hi eko mahan gunaha. So he's saying Kaler dosha. In Kali Yuga, there are so many doshas, so many faults, my dear king. Asti hi eko mahan guna. But there is one best thing, mahan guna, one great quality of Kali Yuga. What is that quality of Kali Yuga? Kali Yuga, there is supposed to be no good qualities, only bad qualities. But there is one good quality. The only good quality. What is that? Kirtanad eva Krishnasya. Eva means only Krishnasya. By doing Kirtana of Krishna, Mukta Sangha Param Vrajit. That one can get liberation from this material world simply by doing Krishna's Kirtan. The next verse says, just to contrast, in other yugas, Krite means in the Satyuga, Yad Dhyayato Vishnum. You have to do Dhyan, Smarana of Vishnu, very hard. Tretayam Yajato Makhaihi. You have to do big yagyas. In Dwapare Paricharyayam. We discussed Paricharya today, and it includes Paricharya and Archana, both. So you have to do very elaborate deity worship. Kalau Tad Hari Kirtana. The same benefit that you can get from all these in other yugas, that benefit is available in Kali Yuga simply by Hari Kirtan. And that is the good quality of Kali Yuga. That's the only good quality of Kali Yuga. There's a massive discount, massive sale going on in Kali Yuga. 99% sale, 99% discount. Just by doing Hari Kirtan, you can get the same benefit as of by doing Smarana in Satyuga. And the final verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, the last verse, the absolute final verse of Bhagavatam says, Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukkha Shamanas Tam Namami Harim Param. So, Nama Sankirtana. So, the last verse, it's the final verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, 12th canto, 13th chapter, 23rd verse. This is the end of Srimad Bhagavatam. And the only thing being talked about in the last verse is the potency or the power of Nama Sankirtan. So, you can understand the whole Srimad Bhagavatam's focus is Nama Sankirtan. Okay. Okay, shall we cover one or two more? It will take some time. 10 minutes. I want to make progress, so let's keep going, okay? I hope it's okay with all of you. Time-wise and for attendance-wise, for Bhakti Shastri, if you want, you can leave. Class is 1 hour 30 minutes officially, so we are past 1 hour 30 minutes. So you will get full attendance if you have attended. I won't hold you against you if you drop, but if possible, you can stay. Okay. 35th limb is Vigyapti. Okay. Vigyapti means offering words, personal words to Krishna of submission, or in your own, whatever is your current situation, just talking to Krishna. So this is very personal sort of, it doesn't have to be in any poetry or any meter, any chanda. No, just personal, like very heart to heart talking to Krishna. And even sometimes crying, not howling and crying like making a drama, but even tears. It's very emotional. It's very personal. So, in that way, very personal, direct talk one-on-one with Krishna. That is Vigyapti, very important limb of Bhakti. It's not counted as one of the 5 most important, but it's very important. And 6 verses have been allocated or given by Sri Rupa Goswami on this. So first he is describing what it is, that these are personal words to the Lord. And if done with feeling, they are very, very powerful. Then he says that there are 3 types of Vigyaptis. 3 types. Please pay attention. Okay. So first is known as Samprarthana Atmika. So it is like Prarthana from the heart, Atmika. So very feelingly offering a prayer to the Lord. Okay. with lot of absorption. With lot of absorption is the main point. And the prayer could be composed by somebody else, but you kind of, you feel as if you are the author of the prayer. It is expressing your situation it's capturing your situation very accurately, and that's the prayer you are offering to the Lord. Even though it may have been written by somebody else, it is appropriate for your emotion, expressing your emotions to the Lord. But absorption is very important. And the verse says that, just like a boy and girl who are in love, first love or whatever, always they are thinking of each other. You cannot get the thought out of their mind. May my mind get absorbed in you through these prayers. So that is the absorption that is known as samprarthana atmika type of vigyapti. Okay. Next one is known as Dainya Bodhika. Dainya Bodhika means acknowledging one's incompetence. So there are so many prayers where one says that, I am the greatest sinner, I am the most fallen, I am an offender. So many prayers, if you read by Bhaktivinoda Thakur or Narottam Das Thakur, they will say this. And, I am even ashamed to ask you to remove my sins, even though you can remove the sins easily. I am that feeling of being a fallen person. So admission of one's incompetence or one's frailty is the other type of vigyapti. Now it can be done through prayers composed by others, or it could be your own prayer, but that's the feeling, that is what is being highlighted here. Okay. Now it doesn't mean that one should go around committing sins and try to come back in the evening, morning you commit sins and evening you come back and have this vigyapti. No. That's not obviously the meaning. Okay. So the meaning is just that, feeling of being very incapable of or very incompetent. Then the third one. So this first two can happen in any stage of bhakti, even in the beginning stage or medium stages, like sadhana bhakti. The third one, lalasa mayi, happens from bhava stage. And it's, obviously one can imitate, but when it naturally happens, the imitation is not recommended. Naturally from the heart, it happens as an expression of longing or desiring some specific type of seva. When will I be able to, wash your feet, my dear Lord? Or something like that. So, and this is where, some kind of crying. Now, crying can happen even in this case, that I am such a fallen soul. Please, save me, or you are the only savior, or something like that. The crying or that very strong, intense emotion can apply to or applies to all of these. But here it could be for being engaged in some specific seva of the Lord. And this borderlines on Raganuga Bhakti, not really Vaidhi Bhakti, but what we are discussing are the 64 limbs of Vaidhi Bhakti. So, but this is a sort of, Raganuga Bhakti aspect. And Sri Narottam Das Thakur, all his songs, primarily the songs in his book or collection called Prarthana, they are considered to be the epitome of Vigyapti. You will find all three types of Vigyaptis in his prayers. So if you want to really appreciate what is Vigyapti, try to read the songs in the Prarthana book of Srila Narottam Das Thakur. Okay. So about this Vigyapti, Srila Prabhupada has written wonderful 3 paragraphs. I want to read those paragraphs from Nectar of Devotion. Okay, so this is, I think, from chapter 9. And I will just read. Please listen. You can go back and read in Nectar of Devotion. But I was very, very impacted when I read these 3 paragraphs. Okay. So, and these are directly also coming from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, but the way Srila Prabhupada has put it just touches the heart. In the Narad Pancharatra, there is a statement of submission accompanied by desire for perfection. So this is the, so the devotee says, so this is the third, the Lalasa Mayi that we are talking about. Okay, to do some specific service or seva of the Lord. My dear Lord, when shall that day come when you will ask me to fan your body? And according to your pleasure, you will say, you just fan me in this way. When will that day come when the Lord will tell me, fan me in this way? Very specific. The idea in this verse is that the devotee is desiring to personally fan the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That means that he is desiring to become a personal associate of the Supreme Lord. Of course, any devotee in any capacity, either as servant, friend, conjugal lover, always has direct association with the Lord. But according to his different individual taste, a person desires for just one of these relationships. So various relationships exist, or possibilities exist, dasya, sakhya, vatsalya, madhurya. But a devotee develops at the bhava stage, one begins to develop his specific relationship with Bhagavan. Okay, so this is a very high stage when one realizes his, the rasa in which he the sthai bhav, the fundamental rasa in which one connects with the Lord. Here, the devotee is desiring to become a servant of the Lord, because fanning the Lord is like, the job of a servant, and desires to fan the Lord, as does his internal energy Lakshmi, goddess Lakshmi in Madhurya Bhav also does that, but he is in the mode of dasya, as a servant. He also wishes to fan that the personality of Godhead will be pleased to give him directions as to how to fan. This submission with transcendental desire, or lalsa mayi vigyapti, is the highest perfectional stage of spiritual realization. In the same Narad Pancharatra, there is another expression of submission where the devotee says, my dear Lord, O lotus-eyed one, when will that day come when on the bank of the Yamuna, I shall become just like a madman and continue to chant your holy name while incessant tears flow from my eyes? So very specific, standing on the bank of Yamuna and chanting your name and tears coming from the eyes. This is another perfectional stage. Lord Chaitanya also desired a moment will appear unto me as 12 years of time, and the whole world will appear to me as vacant on account of not seeing you, my dear Lord. Galadam Ashuddharaya, what is that? The 7th verse. Nayanam Gadgazaruddhaya Vira. I'm messing it up. Anyway, one should feelingly pray and become eager to render his particular type of service to the Lord. So first you have to, one identifies his type of particular service to the Lord, and then becomes very eager to execute that kind of seva, or to do that kind of seva. This is the teaching of all great devotees, especially Lord Sri Chaitanya. Then he summarizes the whole, philosophy very nicely. In other words, one should learn how to cry for the Lord. Very important. One should learn this small technique. I kind of felt amused when Srila Prabhupada said it's a small technique. It's a very advanced technique to genuinely cry for the Lord. And he should be very eager to actually cry to become engaged in some particular type of service. This is called laulya. And such tears are the price for the highest perfection. If one develops this laulya means that hankering, that intense desire, that greed, that is laulya, or excessive eagerness for meeting and serving the Lord in a particular way, that is the price to enter into the kingdom of God. Otherwise, there is no material calculation for the value of the ticket by which one can enter the kingdom of God. The only price for such entrance is this laulya lalsa mayi bhakti, or desire and great eagerness. Okay, so that is what is being said. Okay, just 5 more minutes and we'll cover one and then we'll stop. So this is again in there. We'll cover the voice parts. So all the voice. So we talked about Gita, singing. We talked about Sankirtana. We talked about Japa. We talked about Vigyapti. And the last one is Stav part. So Stav part means reciting prayers and compositions. So this has 3 verses, 157, 158, and 159. And basically reciting prayers or compositions. You could recite them anywhere, but especially in front of the Lord, in front of the deity or a picture of the Lord. And so many compositions exist. The entire Bhagavad Gita is a composition that glorifies Lord Krishna. Or there are so many wonderful prayers in the Srimad Bhagavatam. There is the prayers of Bhishma Dev, Bhishma Stuti. There are the prayers of Mother Queen Kunti. And there are so many other wonderful prayers. The prayers by the Nagapatnis, prayers by the Vedas, and there are just so many prayers to the Lord. By Akruraji and so many others. So the 158th verse says that those whose tongues are decorated with the jewels of Krishna's stavas, these compositions, such devotees are worshipped by the demigods and other devotees. So that's the glory of keeping these stavas on your tongue. And this limb refers, though it talks about stava part, it refers to stava and stotra. What is the difference between these two? Stotras are found in standard scriptures, the Shrutis and Smritis, and they generally apply to a broad category of devotees. Stava are personal compositions by acharyas and devotees to express their individual emotions towards the Lord. So, for example, Sri Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami have written so many stavas. They are their personal offerings to the Lord in that particular emotion which they are trying to express. So, stavas may also apply to certain devotees who at a specific time or situation have the same mood as the composer. So, in that mood, they can recite that stava. So, that is the difference between stotra and stava. Okay, we'll stop here. We have completed till 36th limb of bhakti. So today we started from Nam Aparadha, which was part of the Nam and Seva Aparadha discussion from last week. And then we started from number 21. What was the first one we talked about today? The Chinha, Vaishnava Chinha on the body, the Tilak and the Aksharas and all that. And then we started from 21 and we covered how many? 16 limbs of bhakti today. Okay. So let's see what questions are there. There are lot of chat questions. So let's see. And in the meantime, if you have questions, you can raise hand. Okay. Any significance of doing parikrama 4 times? I don't know the answer of 4 times, but it is mentioned that you should do 4 times, if possible. I will try to find out. How should one do deity worship if one is alone? I mean, if there is no one else to sing. So deity worship or archana does not necessarily have to be accompanied by singing. That's first point. Okay. So deity worship can be done silently. If nobody is there, you just do silently. That is one. It is perfectly okay to do that. I have seen some, devotees doing that from a distance. And plus, I am not a good singer at all. So, I wouldn't even volunteer to sing if asked. Second point is you can run a tape or a recording on a, whatever, you have a little mini player. So you can run a kirtan or something, Hare Krishna Mahamantra or some other thing like that. So that is possible. Which type of liberation is it for the Krishnaya Namah mantra? So, I do not know that. Most likely it is Salokya. So, the living in the planet of the Lord is the sort of there is a very detailed description in the Sandarbhas, especially in the Priti Sandarbha. Of course, Sayujya, which is impersonal liberation, is the sort of the lowest, but even among Salokya, Sarishti, Sarupya, and Samipya, the highest is considered to be Samipya, and the entry one is considered to be Salokya. Because the first level is above impersonal liberation is to enter into a Vaikuntha planet. Then you can have the same Rupa as the Lord. So otherwise you can also be a cow or a whatever, some other form one can have, like an animal, or cow is a very common one. So Sarupya and then Sarishti having the same powers as the Lord. And then Samipya means always staying next to or close to the Lord. So it mentions, so I think it is Salokya, but yeah. Then there is, if Sankirtan, then why is one initiated to do Japa? Because Japa is personal. If there is no other, why is Sankirtan, why are we asked to do Japa instead of Sankirtan? That is what is the question. Because Japa is, you can do it, first of all, when you are alone, you don't need anybody else. And the second point is that Japa is supposed to, even when you become very advanced, Japa is something that you can continue to do till the very end. And whether it is Vachik Japa or Upamshu Japa or Manasik. So when we say you have to do Japa, it counts for all three. The meaning of Japa given by Sri Rupa Goswami here is Upamshu Japa, or what is known as Su Laghu Ucharana. So mostly when we do Japa, it is of the Upamshu type. But it does not mean that we cannot do Vachik Japa, which is Kirtana, or Manasik Japa, which is Smarana. So we can, when we do Japa, we can do it in any of those categories. But the counted Japa that we are doing for fulfilling our vow on the beads is not generally of the Sankirtana or the, that type. It is either, even if it is Vachik, it is loud, but you're still doing it like not with music, or Upamshu or Manasik. So the reason for that, why that is stressed, is because that process continues even if one has become very advanced, and it gives you the practice right now to, even if you don't have the taste, you develop the taste by doing it, by removing Nam Aparads and with Adar. Anudinam Adarat. So the 7th verse of Nectar of Instruction, you must remember. And in that mood, one should do the Japa with a lot of Adar and Anudinam every day in any circumstance. If you are traveling in a bus or an aeroplane, you cannot do Sankirtan, but you can do Japa. So that is the answer. If one follows just one limb with much interest, is it enough? Yes, even one limb, not much interest, but with total interest. Not much, just replace much with total. With 100% love and devotion, one limb is enough to cross the ocean of material existence. How to offer clothes to Krishna, new clothes for ourselves? Well, offer it to Krishna. I mean, the simplest thing is put it in a nice, plate and just put it in front of Krishna and pray to Krishna that please, use these clothes to, they have to be proper clothes, not these modern, even if it is jeans, not the ones which are those torn from the middle, which, modern, somehow those fashion is there to show more of your body than to cover your body. So, it has to be sattvic. The mood and the whole thing has to be sattvic. But just say, Lord, my dear Lord, please, this jeans is for you, not for me, for you. You please wear it. And it looks good when you wear it. The jeans becomes good if you are wearing. And then the Lord will accept if you ask him sincerely, and then you take it as prasad and you wear it. Okay. So just, a vigyapti with a very humble and a very prayerful mood, request the Lord to use or to accept your offering of new clothes and take it back as prasad. Okay. All right. So those were all the questions on the chat. Anything else? Okay, then we will end the call here. Sorry it went longer, but I still want to keep covering material as much as possible. Next week, do we have class? I think there are some local programs here with Arjun Sakha Prabhu, I believe. So we might do a class at a different time on Saturday, a little bit earlier than usual, or we might skip it. I will decide, but please watch out the notification on WhatsApp. Okay, thank you very much. Srila Rupa Goswami.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Jai.
Sorry, I have interrupted.
Yes.
In Sanskritam, when we teach the small children, we say Lagu Padya, Lagu Shloka means short and very small, very easy to learn. That only I told. I'm sorry.
No problem. And even in vowel or syllables also, we have Laghu and Guru. Like we call Laghu, is Guru, long. So it has multiple meanings. That's why I was saying, in this context, Laghu means the volume, not the length of the mantra. So everything has a contextual meaning. So that's why I was telling the contextual meaning. No problem. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. We'll see you next time. Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.